You've been lied to about savings. Not in the dramatic way where someone steals your identity or empties your bank account, but in a quieter, more insidious way that's actually worse. You've been told that building wealth requires massive sacrifice, extreme frugality, living like a monk, eating ramen every night, never enjoying anything, depriving yourself of every small pleasure until someday, decades from now, you'll finally have enough money to start living. So you try. You really do. You cut everything. You make yourself miserable. You last about 2 weeks before you crack, buy something you enjoy, feel like a complete failure, and give up entirely. The cycle repeats. You're either in extreme restriction mode or complete chaos mode with nothing in between. But what if everything you've been taught about saving money is backwards? What if the people who actually build substantial savings over time aren't the ones white-knuckling their way through deprivation? What if they're doing something completely different that nobody talks about because it's not dramatic enough for social media or clickbait headlines? I'm going to share 11 simple daily habits that actually multiply your savings over time. Not through punishment or restriction, but through small, sustainable actions that compound. Some of these will seem too simple to matter. That's exactly why they work. The habits that change your financial life aren't the dramatic ones you can't maintain. They're the boring ones you can do forever without thinking about them. Let's start with the habit that makes everything else possible. Habit number 1. Automate one savings transfer every single day. Most people try to save whatever's left at the end of the month. Here's what's left at the end of the month for most people. Nothing. There's always something to spend money on. Always an unexpected expense. Always a reason why this month isn't the right month to start saving. The people who actually build savings flip this completely backwards. They pay themselves first, automatically, before they have a chance to spend it. But here's the twist that makes this actually work. Instead of one big monthly transfer that feels painful, set up a small daily transfer. $5, $10, whatever amount feels almost invisible to your daily life. Every single morning at 6 a.m., that amount moves automatically from checking to savings. You'll barely notice it. That's the point. The psychology of daily transfers is completely different from monthly ones. A $150 monthly transfer feels significant. It makes you think about what you're giving up. A $5 daily transfer is the cost of a coffee you probably weren't going to buy anyway. Your brain doesn't register it as a sacrifice. But do the math. $5 daily is $1,825 per year. $10 daily is $3,650 per year. Keep that up for a decade with even modest interest, and you're looking at real money, built from an amount so small you never felt deprived. The key is automation. If you have to manually transfer money every day, you won't do it. You'll forget, you'll make excuses, you'll convince yourself you need that $5 for something else. Automation removes willpower from the equation entirely. Set it up once and forget about it. Your savings grow while you sleep. Habit number 2. Round up every purchase to the nearest $10 mentally. This habit costs you nothing and changes everything about how you perceive spending. Every time you buy something, round the price up to the nearest $10 in your head. A $7 lunch becomes $10. A $43 tank of gas becomes $50. A $180 electric bill becomes $190. You're not actually spending the extra money. You're creating a mental buffer between what you think you're spending and what you're actually spending. This does two powerful things. First, it makes you feel like you're spending more than you are, which naturally makes you more thoughtful about purchases without requiring deprivation. Second, it creates invisible surplus in your checking account. You think you have less available than you actually do, which means you're less likely to spend carelessly. At the end of the month, when you check your balance, you'll consistently have more than you expected. That surplus can go straight to savings. The beauty of this habit is that it requires no tracking, no apps, no spreadsheets. Just a simple mental adjustment every time you buy something. Over time, this habit recalibrates your sense of what things cost and what you can afford. You start making better decisions automatically without feeling restricted. Habit number 3. Ask one question before every non-essential purchase. The question isn't, do I need this? That question is useless because you can rationalize anything. The question that actually works is this. Would I buy this if I had to pay cash right now? Not would I buy it eventually. Would I buy it right this second if I had to pull out physical cash and hand it over? Credit and debit cards create psychological distance between spending and money. Tapping a card or clicking buy now doesn't feel like spending money. It feels like acquiring something. Cash feels different. Handing over bills creates a visceral sense of loss that electronic payments don't trigger. You don't need to actually use cash for everything. That's impractical and unnecessary. You just need to ask yourself the question: would I drive to an ATM right now, withdraw the cash, drive back, and complete this purchase? If the answer is yes, buy it. If the answer is anything other than an immediate yes, don't. This single question will stop more unnecessary purchases than any budget or spending tracker ever could. Because what it's really asking is, do I want this enough to feel the loss? Most of the time, the answer is no. And that's fine. You're not depriving yourself of things you actually want. You're just filtering out the things you don't want enough to feel like you're spending money on them. Habit number 4. Delete one subscription or recurring charge every month. Look at your bank statement right now. Actually pull it up. I'll wait. How many recurring charges do you see? Streaming services you forgot about. Apps you signed up for during a free trial. Subscriptions you meant to cancel. Gym memberships you haven't used in 6 months. The average American has 12 paid subscriptions and underestimates how much they spend on them by over $100 per month. That's $1,200 per year disappearing into services you barely use or forgot existed. Here's the habit. Once a month, on the first day of the month, review your recurring charges and delete one. Just one. Not all of them. Not a massive purge that leaves you feeling deprived. One subscription that you either don't use or don't value enough to justify the cost. Maybe it's the streaming service you only watch one show on. Maybe it's the premium version of an app when the free version would work fine. Maybe it's the subscription box that seemed fun at first but now just creates clutter. Cancel one per month. In a year, you've eliminated 12 recurring charges. Even if they average just $10 each, that's $120 per month back in your pocket. $1,440 per year. And unlike a one-time purchase you regret, subscriptions cost you money every single month until you actively stop them. They're financial vampires that drain your account while you're not paying attention. One cancellation per month is manageable. It doesn't feel overwhelming. And the money you save is automatic and permanent. Habit number 5. Implement a 24-hour rule for purchases over $50. Impulse purchases destroy savings. Not the $3 candy bar at the checkout counter. The $200 jacket you didn't plan to buy. The $400 gadget that seemed essential in the moment. The $150 dinner you suggested spontaneously. Large impulse purchases feel good for about 30 seconds and then you're stuck with them. The buyer's remorse sets in. The credit card bill arrives. You realize you didn't actually need it or want it as much as you thought. The solution is stupidly simple. For any unplanned purchase over $50, wait 24 hours before buying it. If you still want it tomorrow, get it. If you've forgotten about it or lost interest, you just saved yourself $50 or more. This isn't about deprivation. It's about making sure your purchases are actually aligned with what you want rather than just responding to momentary impulses. Real desire survives 24 hours. Impulse doesn't. I've personally saved thousands of dollars with this habit. Things that seemed absolutely essential in the moment become completely uninteresting the next day. The urgency was artificial, created by marketing or emotion or circumstances, not by genuine need or want. 24 hours is enough time for that artificial urgency to evaporate. You'll be shocked how many things you don't buy simply because you gave yourself time to think about it. Habit number 6. Pack lunch the night before, not the morning of. Everyone knows that bringing lunch from home saves money compared to eating out. A homemade lunch costs maybe $3 to $5. Buying lunch costs $12 to $15 or more. Over a year, that's thousands of dollars. But most people fail at bringing lunch consistently because they try to do it in the morning when they're rushed, tired, and running late. So they skip it, promise themselves they'll do it tomorrow, and spend another $15 on mediocre food they don't even enjoy. The habit that actually works is packing lunch the night before, not meal prepping for the entire week, which feels overwhelming and requires motivation you might not have, just making tomorrow's lunch tonight. After dinner, while you're already in the kitchen, while you're already in food preparation mode, take 10 minutes to pack tomorrow's lunch. Put it in the fridge. In the morning, grab it on your way out. No decisions, no willpower required, no opportunity to skip it because you're running late. This tiny shift in timing changes everything. Night you is making decisions for morning you. Night you is calm, has time, can think clearly. Morning you is stressed and will take the path of least resistance. Set up the path of least resistance to be the one that saves money. 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, saving $10 per lunch is $2,500 annually. That's real money built from a 10-minute evening habit that requires almost no effort once it becomes routine. Habit number 7. Use cash for one spending category. I'm not suggesting you go full cash envelope system for everything. That's impractical in 2026 when most transactions are digital. But using cash for one specific category creates powerful awareness without being burdensome. Pick your problem category. For most people, it's either food, entertainment, or shopping. Whatever category where money seems to disappear without you quite knowing where it went. For that one category, use cash exclusively for 1 month. Withdraw a set amount at the beginning of the week. When it's gone, it's gone. No exceptions. The physical act of handing over cash and watching your wallet get lighter creates awareness that swiping a card never will. You'll naturally start making different choices. You'll skip purchases that aren't worth it. You'll look for better deals. You'll make what you have stretch further. After 1 month, you can go back to cards if you want, but you'll have recalibrated your sense of what you're actually spending in that category. The awareness stays even after you stop using cash. And often, you'll find that you prefer the cash system for that category because it creates natural boundaries without requiring tracking or willpower. Habit number 8. Celebrate savings wins immediately. This might sound frivolous, but it's actually the most important habit on this list. Every time you make a good financial decision, every time you skip an unnecessary purchase, every time you choose the cheaper option that works just as well, celebrate it immediately. Not with spending, with acknowledgement. Tell yourself, I just saved $40 by bringing lunch instead of eating out. That's $40 staying in my account. Say it out loud if you're alone. Text a friend who's also working on finances. Write it down. Make the win concrete and real in your mind. Most people only notice their financial failures. The splurges, the impulse buys, the moments of weakness. They beat themselves up and feel like they're bad with money, but they completely ignore their financial wins, the good decisions they make every single day. This creates a psychological pattern where managing money feels negative and punishing. Celebrating wins creates positive reinforcement. Your brain starts associating good financial decisions with good feelings instead of deprivation. Over time, this makes the good decisions easier and more automatic. You're not forcing yourself to save money through willpower. You're creating a positive feedback loop where saving money feels rewarding. This is how habits become sustainable instead of something you white-knuckle your way through until you burn out. Habit number 9. Review your bank balance every single morning. This habit takes 30 seconds and changes everything about your financial awareness. Every morning before you start your day, open your banking app and look at your checking account balance. That's it. Don't analyze it. Don't judge yourself. Don't make it complicated, just look at the number. This creates constant awareness of your financial reality. You know exactly what you have available. You can't lie to yourself about it or avoid it or pretend it's more than it is. When you know your real balance every single day, you make better decisions automatically. You're less likely to make purchases you can't afford. You're more motivated to find ways to increase that number. You catch problems early before they become catastrophes. Most people avoid looking at their balance because they're afraid of what they'll see. That avoidance is exactly what allows small problems to become big ones. Daily check-ins remove the fear because there are no surprises. You always know exactly where you stand. The number might not always be what you want it to be. That's fine. You're building awareness, not judging yourself. Awareness is the foundation of change. You cannot improve what you don't measure. Habit number 10. Redirect one regular expense to savings every quarter. This habit is about gradually optimizing your fixed costs without making massive changes all at once. Once every 3 months, look at your regular expenses and find one that you can reduce or eliminate. Then redirect that money automatically to savings. Quarter 1, maybe you call your car insurance company and shop around. You find a policy that's $30 per month cheaper with the same coverage. Set up an automatic $30 monthly transfer to savings. Quarter 2, maybe you negotiate your internet bill or switch to a cheaper phone plan, saving $40 per month. Add another $40 automatic transfer. Quarter 3, maybe you refinance a loan at a lower rate or cancel a service you're not using, saving $25 per month. Another automatic transfer. Quarter 4, maybe you find a cheaper option for something you buy regularly, saving $20 per month. You know what comes next. By the end of the year, You've added $115 in automatic monthly transfers to savings without feeling deprived of anything because you're not cutting things you value. You're just optimizing costs on things you were paying for anyway. That's $1,380 per year in additional savings from 4 small optimizations. Over a decade, that's substantial money that required 4 decisions and 0 ongoing willpower. Habit number 11. Teach one money lesson to someone else every month. This final habit might seem unrelated to your personal savings, but it's actually one of the most powerful on the list. Once a month, share one thing you've learned about money with someone else. A friend, a family member, a coworker, anyone who might benefit. Maybe you share the 24-hour rule for purchases. Maybe you explain how compound interest works. Maybe you tell someone about the daily automation habit. The specific lesson doesn't matter. What matters is that teaching forces you to clarify your own understanding. When you have to explain a concept to someone else, you think about it more deeply. You understand it better. You're more likely to actually implement it yourself. There's a reason teachers often say they learn more from teaching than their students do. Explaining something requires you to truly understand it. Additionally, talking about money openly breaks down the shame and secrecy that keeps so many people stuck. Money is one of the last true taboos in American culture. People will discuss their sex lives before they'll discuss their finances. That silence keeps everyone ignorant and struggling alone with problems that are incredibly common. When you share what you're learning, you give other people permission to talk about money too. You create accountability for yourself. You build a community of people working towards similar goals. And often, the person you teach will share something valuable back. Teaching money lessons isn't just generous. It's one of the best ways to solidify your own financial habits and stay motivated over time. These 11 habits share something important. They're all small enough to implement immediately without disruption to your life. They're all sustainable indefinitely without requiring constant willpower. And they all compound over time, creating results far beyond what you'd expect from such simple actions. The math is straightforward. Daily $5 automation is $1,825 per year. Packing lunch saves $2,500 annually. Quarterly expense optimization adds $1,380 per year. Just those 3 habits alone put $5,705 per year into savings without any feeling of deprivation or sacrifice. Over a decade, that's over $57,000 plus whatever interest or investment returns you earn. And that's assuming you never increase the amounts, never add additional habits, never get raises that allow you to save more. In reality, these habits create momentum. Once you see savings growing automatically, you get motivated to find more ways to accelerate it. The person who implements these habits isn't the same person a year later. They've become someone who saves automatically, who makes thoughtful spending decisions, who has financial awareness and confidence. The transformation isn't about the specific dollar amounts. It's about identity. You stop being someone who struggles with money and become someone who builds wealth through small, consistent actions. That identity shift changes everything. Now you know 11 simple habits that actually work, not because they're dramatic or extreme, but because they're sustainable. The question isn't whether these habits work. The question is whether you'll actually implement them. Start with one, just one. Pick whichever habit feels easiest or most relevant to your situation. Do it for 30 days until it becomes automatic. Then add another. In a year, you'll have implemented all 11 without ever feeling overwhelmed. And your savings will reflect it.